Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Young Money Mentors, and I went from having no qualifications and no money to becoming a multimillionaire by building my own business. Today, I'm diving deep into the 7 things you must avoid if you want to build real wealth and stand out from the crowd. My mentor told me in my early 20s, if you don't want to be like everyone else, you have to make sacrifices others aren't willing to make. That advice changed my life, and I'm going to break it all down for you in this long, detailed guide. So grab a notebook, hit that subscribe button, and let's get started. Before we jump in, this video is packed with actionable advice, so stick around till the end. I'll also share a bonus tip on how I manage my money every time I get paid. Let's dive into the first thing to avoid. Working for just money. The first thing you need to avoid is working only for money. I know it sounds counterintuitive. Money's the goal, right? But hear me out. Picture this. You land a boring but well-paid job. You're stacking cash, your friends think you're crushing it, and your parents are proud. Life's good, right? But over time, your earning potential hits a ceiling. You're stuck. I call this path A now. Imagine a different scenario. You take a challenging, lower-paid job. It's tough. You might struggle to pay bills, your friends think you're falling behind, and your parents question your choices. But as you grind, you're learning valuable skills and building connections. Over time, your earning potential skyrockets. This is Path B. So what's the difference? Path A is all about chasing money early on. Path B prioritizes 2 things: skills and equity. Every self-made millionaire I know followed Path B. It's the only way to build serious wealth. Let me share my story. I left school at 16 with no qualifications. I had multiple job offers, but I chose to become a carpenter's apprentice. The pay was terrible, but I knew the skills I'd learn would be invaluable. I wasn't going to get equity in that business, but I was working for more than just a paycheck. That job taught me a ton, even though I had to quit after being bullied by my manager. Those skills still help me today in designing my best-selling brand of radio-controlled planes, sold worldwide. By learning high-income skills, you become your greatest asset. I like to think of every job I had as adding tools to my skill set, like a Swiss Army knife. Today, I'd recommend focusing on online skills like copywriting, video editing, or coding. The demand for these is massive, and honestly, the competition isn't that tough. 99% of people aren't up to standard. Master these, and you'll never be broke again. Now let's talk about equity. Equity means owning a piece of a business so you can share in the profits. My radio-controlled plane brand is a perfect example. I started it myself, but you can also earn equity through sweat equity, working for it with your skills, or by buying into a business, though I'd only recommend that if you can actively help it grow. My friend Simon Squibb often tells people to start businesses or ask for equity from their boss. I agree, but you need self-awareness. Early on, focus on building skills before launching your own thing. And if you're asking for equity, have a solid case. Show how you'll add value, not just take it. The key takeaway? Don't get blinded by money. Obsess over skills and equity, and you'll make more in the long run. Buying a luxury lifestyle. The second thing to avoid is chasing a luxury lifestyle. Picture yourself cruising through Dubai in a bright yellow Lamborghini, pulling up to a fancy restaurant and ordering a $500 steak without blinking. Feels successful, doesn't it? Here's the truth. Most people living like this aren't successful. They're leasing cars they can't afford, racking up credit card debt for vacations, and sweating over bills they can't pay. It's all smoke and mirrors. Social media makes it worse. You see people flexing, and it's tempting to join the game thinking everyone's living better than you. But the stats tell a different story. 37% of Americans can't handle a $400 emergency, 39% worry about bills, and 60% can't afford a new car. These people aren't rich. They're drowning in debt to look rich. Once you've made your millions, buy whatever you want. That's the point of wealth. But early on, you can't live like a king and build wealth. Instead of splurging on depreciating assets like cars, designer clothes, or fancy dinners, invest in appreciating assets, stocks, crypto, real estate. These grow over time and generate income, letting you live the life you want later without the stress. Ciao. Doing everything yourself. The third thing to avoid is trying to do everything yourself. No matter how talented you are, you can't outcompete a team of skilled people working together. Look at any successful person in sports or business. They all had help. Take Elon Musk. He's seen as a solo genius, but he didn't build PayPal alone. His team became the PayPal Mafia, launching companies like YouTube, Yelp, LinkedIn, and SpaceX. They collaborated, invested in each other, and shared advice. You don't need to aim for $1 billion company to apply this. If you're starting a side hustle, leverage others' strengths. For example, many older business owners struggle with tech, things like managing teams online, handling invoices, or building websites. They need help, and that's where you come in. If you've got digital skills, you can modernize their businesses and make serious money. One tool I recommend is Odoo, an all-in-one platform for managing businesses. Imagine a dated website for a gardening business stuck in 2010. Using Odoo's e-commerce app, you can create a modern site in 30 minutes. Pick a theme, upload their logo, use the drag-and-drop editor, and let Odoo's AI help with copy. The result? A sleek, professional site that blows the old one away. You can charge for this service or use Odoo to manage your own business. Note: if you're partnering with Odoo, mention their offer here, e.g., Odoo's giving you your first app free for life with unlimited support and a free domain for a year. Check the link below. Having too many inputs. The fourth thing to avoid is having too many inputs. Ever feel pulled in a million directions? Everyone's got an opinion: friends, family, social media, telling you to be a doctor, start a business, travel, or get a 9-to-5. These are inputs, and they create endless paths, leading to cognitive overload. Your brain just can't handle it. The solution? Start with your end goal and work backward. You don't need to know exactly what you want, but have a rough idea. Then, only listen to inputs that align with that goal. Prioritize quality over quantity. Cut out random opinions and seek expert advice from mentors, successful people in your field, or educational content like this video. Fully implement one piece of advice before seeking more. Otherwise, you'll hit mental fatigue and decision paralysis, where you're too overwhelmed to act. Some mistake this for laziness, but it's just your brain crying for focus. Being ego-driven. The fifth thing to avoid is being ego-driven. Arrogant people won't even finish this video. They think they know it all. But that's the problem. Ego blinds you to life-changing opportunities. Ego-driven people obsess over the big picture, dreaming of the end goal while ignoring the small, crucial steps to get there. For example, some might skim this video to see the 7 points without absorbing the details, missing insights that could fast-track their success. When you're too egotistical, you dismiss advice from others, especially those who've walked the path you're on. True wealth requires humility, admitting you don't know everything and staying open to learning. The iceberg principle says what you know is just the tip. The real knowledge lies below the surface. Arrogance makes you forget that. It's a silent wealth killer, convincing you you're too good to learn or take small steps. Passing the blame. The sixth thing to avoid is passing the blame. There's a Chinese proverb I love. The man who blames others has a long way to go. The man who blames himself is halfway there. The man who blames no one has arrived. Imagine you have two objects, a magnifying glass and a mirror. The magnifying glass lets you focus on others, fueling the blame game. It's tempting, blaming a teacher for a failed test when you binged Netflix, or traffic for being late when you left late. But small blames grow into habits. You hear it all the time. The system's rigged. My boss hates me. I'm not rich enough to start a business. The more you blame others, the bigger your excuses get. Instead, pick up the mirror. Focus on what you control, your thoughts and actions. That's how you become the person who's arrived at their destination. Staying static. The seventh thing to avoid is staying static, trapped in your comfort zone. It's like a self-imposed prison, safe but limiting. Studies show over Half of Brits don't leave their comfort zone, and 45% fear regretting it. To break free, expand your circle. When I was young, my comfort zone was narrow. School, subjects I wasn't good at. The traditional path didn't suit me. So, I stepped out, took the carpentry apprenticeship, and created new space. But I wasn't done. I tried side hustles, started my business with a risky bank loan, and traveled to China to find manufacturers despite language barriers. Years later, feeling complacent, I expanded again, starting YouTube at 53 to share real advice, not fake flexing. Your comfort zone is infinite, but you have to claim it. If you don't push your boundaries, you'll miss out on what could have been yours.